Hey there, and welcome to Hey We're Talking. It's me, Scotty D, and I shouldn't call myself Scotty. I don't like when people call me Scotty. Really, I get it. Doesn't bug me that much, but
I'm gonna call you all the time now.
Scotty.
Hey, Scotty.
Yeah,
Scotty D.
I'm not gonna tell you how to say it. That would probably bother me. But if you just call me Scotty, that's fine.
No problem, Scotty.
No, you're never going to get it because I'm not going to expose it. I know what will happen. I'm not going to expose my weak spot. So Scotty D here, and those other two doofuses who are trying to figure out how to be mean to me by calling me Scotty is Mr. Bob Peel and Mr. Derek Tant. So
hi, how you doing, Scott?
Derek has a guest
Friday.
today. Well, he's had a guest all week. He's got some kind of dove or something moaning in the background.
I think it actually is a dove or a pigeon or something. I can see it on the little telephone pole.
Is that how far away it is?
Yeah, or there's one up there, but I think we got some birds like around the corner. And
Derek was like, "It's a nice sound."
Shot it.
Yeah, well, kill
Do
that
what?
thing. Can't you eat it or something? Give it to your dog?
No, I'm not gonna murder birds.
Well, if you're gonna eat it, you can murder it.
I'm not gonna eat a pigeon.
It might be tasty. Who knows? Excuse me. And I'm very unprofessionally choking up on the microphone there. All right. So everybody knows about the spreadsheet. Bob gets all excited about the spreadsheet. We have been wildly just veering off the spreadsheet for the last few weeks. And it's very irritating to Bob. So I thought Friday we'd at least try. So I picked one from a couple of weeks ago that we were going to do. And Bob's completely unprepared for it, of course, because I was like, hey, let's do this one. He was like, I'm going to have to think about that. And I was like, Derek and I will just talk. Giving him some behind the scenes. Derek, you like that when they get the behind the scenes, right?
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
he does.
Thanks, Scott.
I do.
He does.
Like
I'm not lying. It's the truth.
I do. I do show. I like to give people a peek behind the veil, if it were.
Get behind the curtain and see what's going down.
Because this is Friday, the 19th of May, according to the real, according to the show, but in reality, it's...
So usually we do top fives on Friday. So anyway, on the spreadsheet, not this week, but long ago, somewhere in the past, was a top 5 comedians. Now, as you know from listening to the show, when we do top 5s, we never really always do the top 5. We get off track and we just talk. That's because the show is called Hey We're Talking, right? Bob's got something to say already. Go.
So is this like stand-up comedians or comedians as in like a comedy actor or actress?
I would say a stand-up comedian is what we're going for here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to get things started, get the elephant in the room. I have to say this because this is the person that made me like comedy in the first place. I know it's not cool to like him anymore, but I'll always remember him, and I used to have his stuff memorized. And that's Bill Cosby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
I thought you were going to say somebody else, but all right.
No, I loved Bill Cosby. I still love his comedy, but unfortunately, he gave lots of women stuff that made him sleepy, and then he did stuff to him that wasn't nice.
There has been no evidence of that.
Oh, man, there's so many girls that came forward and said it happened. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
if
what to
you
do.
had a couple $1 million, you would too. I just can't believe Mr. Jello Pudding Pop would have done something like that.
We were talking about that the other day, and my wife and I were like, there's going to be a whole generation of people that are not going to get to know about Jell-O Pudding Pops because of what he's done. He could have lived on forever with that Jell-O Pudding Pops, and now it's over.
Innocent until proven guilty. So don't say he's done. He was accused of doing. Come on.
Listen, I'm not going to go down that path. All right.
We'll let due process take its course. But I do agree with you, Scott. He was a very hilarious comedian. I know 2 of his specials I had on videotape and watched them all the time. Extremely rewatchable.
Himself was like the pinnacle of
was it on VHS or beta?
VHS.
VHS, sir. And we also watched the one where he was 49 years old.
Yep.
He talked about that, getting older. It's very relatable.
Yep. Bill Cosby is a genius. He just apparently
he has the dark side.
Had a little bit of a dark side, but
allegedly, right?
Allegedly. So, Derek, what do you give us? I would have to say that probably Bill Cosby has to be one of my top 1 or 2. Go ahead.
Okay, my tippy top, George Carlin, absolutely.
Yeah, good, a good guy.
I never really get into George Carlin because of his. I mean, just all. Maybe I sound like a wuss, but just all the swearing and the atheist and all this stuff. It just wasn't my kind of comedy.
Yeah, he touched on a lot of that in some of his specials, but I think a lot of his stuff, I've read some of his books. They're very funny, and I think some of his best stuff is just talking about common sense things and just being I'm trying to go here. You talk about anti-consumerism and some of the things like that. Some of that stuff was more relatable. He does go quite. He's got a lot of material that goes through the spectrum of different things. And yes, he's a little foul-mouthed. And yes, he was very anti-religion, but a lot of his material is still very relatable and very funny.
He's very libertarian in his beliefs, quite honestly.
Which I probably wouldn't have known most of it because I don't know. I don't remember when he passed away. I'll look it up. 2008.
Yeah, not too long ago.
But when I think his most popular time is when I was a kid, and that kind of turned me off to him, and I just never really went back to listen to any of his stuff.
Yeah, some of that stuff I would say, just like you're saying, because of your age. I mean, you're not that much younger than me, but it might make a difference. And when I was growing up, he was like taboo. You couldn't listen to any of his stuff. But then as I got older, see, that's the funny thing. So then I'll go into my second person here. Eddie Murphy, when I was in high school, he came out with Delirious. And I got a hold of it somehow because I grew up in a very strict household. Very religious, very Christian. And was not allowed to listen to that kind of stuff. And I got a hold of it, and I watched it in my room. I lived in the basement because I wanted to. I wanted to get away from the main floor, so I had my own place, And I listened to, again, and memorized Delirious. I knew every single word of that one as well. And I used to mimic him and do his bits without the swear words. And my mom used to tell when people would come over, she'd go, "Scott, come up here and do Eddie Murphy for everybody." Not knowing that I'm like leaving out all the, filthy, filthy swear words. But one of the things she always wanted me to do was have you guys heard the one where he talks about his Aunt Bunny falling down the steps?
No, I actually, it's kind of like with Bob and George Carlin. I think Eddie Murphy was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done stand up in a long time.
Anything, if you think about it, he just has not gotten involved in a lot of the things he used to be. Just like Chevy Chase has never been back to SNL, and
he was at the 40th celebration.
He was at that.
So was Eddie.
Other than that, they haven't really gotten involved in anything that made them famous, which is just
comedy. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Like, part of the thing is you have to realize too about Eddie is he was rock star status when he was doing stand up, and when he was on SNL. And the thing that was funny is he did these characters on SNL, and people would bring their kids to see him do stand up, and. At these huge arenas, this is before people did huge arena tours. Eddie was doing arena tours. He was one of the first people to do that. Anyway, but yeah, Eddie Murphy's done all sorts of movies and stuff like that. He's real picky. I think he must just be filthy, filthy, filthy rich because he really doesn't. He only does what he likes to do now. He doesn't do a lot of stuff. He was I think the most recent movie he was in just came out maybe last year, and it was a serious role. He's tried to get into more serious acting. He's done a couple of pretty good roles, serious-wise anyway. Go ahead.
Eddie Murphy's worth $75 million. So, that's kind of a lot. But again, like what Derek said, Eddie Murphy was at that same time as George Carlin, and he was just not a person that I really gravitated towards for comedy. You know, I know of Delirious. I believe I've seen it. I've seen Raw as well.
Raw is the purple leather. Delirious is the red leather.
Yeah, and I don't remember them. I don't remember them now. But I just know he was kind of in that same thing. So I think one of the challenges that comedians have is to kind of make people laugh without swearing all the time, without being extremely raunchy. And that's why I love Jim Gaffigan so much.
Yep.
Because Jim Gaffigan can take normal life stuff and make it absolutely hilarious. And if you follow him on Facebook or anything like that, he goes on Facebook Live all the time with his kids and his wife. And it's just everything he does is super clean comedy, but it'll actually get you to start doing the belly laugh, to where you just can't stop laughing because he's a very clean comedian. And I think that's always been a challenge. And I kind of, in a sense, not all of the people I have on my list will be like that, but he's somebody that I've really gravitated towards just because of that, because it's a little bit tougher to do.
Yeah, it is. And along with Jim Gaffigan, another person that's generally pretty clean. Again, Bill Cosby was totally clean comic too. He used to give Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy a lot of trouble about that. There's a whole bit in Eddie's first stand-up special where he talks about Eddie calling Richard Pryor because Bill Cosby's telling him, why do you got to swear like that? And Richard Pryor is basically like, tell Bill Cosby to shut the F up. Anyway, but another person who's pretty clean, generally speaking, and is super popular and has made $1 billion is Jerry Seinfeld. He's relatively clean. So there's another clean guy for you. Derek, what were you going to say?
Oh, I wasn't. I was smoking my pipe.
You looked like you were like, hey, I have a point here for everyone.
But Brian Regan is also kind of in that same realm of very clean comedy. He's very funny too. I know that.
It's definitely, I think those guys that are clean, I'm sorry, Derek. I was just going to say, I think those guys that are clean are harder to come by, but usually they're pretty darn good. If you can work clean, like you're saying, you've perfected your craft, because most of those guys are clean because just on stage. Like even Jim Gaffigan, when you hear him sometimes, he's not like totally, he does say some swear words. Yeah, not like crazy in his act.
When I say clean, I mean, when people say damn and hell and, okay, that's not bad. But when some comedians have to use the F word every word. Before every story or this or that to emphasize the importance. It's like, to me, it's like, really, dude, you don't really need to drop that F-bomb just to be funny, because it's really not funny.
But there are some guys who use like the most coarse, foul language that just genuinely have the gift of actual comedy. And one of those people I think of is Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Dirty as hell. But the premises, the ideas he comes up with, they're so good. I mean, Louis C.K. is... if I couldn't watch Louis C.K. with my parents, but I've watched Louis C.K. a million times and laughed my butt off, and felt bad sometimes when I'm laughing.
Yeah, he's one of the funniest, the biggest genius. I know we got to wrap this up, but I feel like we could revisit this for a whole week.
We haven't even said Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle yet.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. I love Gabriel Iglesias. I love Sebastian Maniscalco, Patton Oswalt.
Yep.
I love all of them.
And
really
you talk old school, like Sam Kinison was absolutely hilarious.
Love that guy.
Another guy who died, Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
He took the strangest, oddest comedy, and it was like everyday life stuff that was just so obvious and just made it funny.
What's the other guy who's really dry like that too? Steve
Wright.
Yes,
Stephen Wright. Yeah.
Oh my god.
With the one-liners,
yes.
Very good.
Oh, dude, there's some great comedians. Norm Macdonald. I love Norm.
I need to see his new special. I know he's got a new special on Netflix.
I just started watching.
for all of y'all, Netflix is a gold mine for stand-up comedy. Dave Chappelle, they gave him $60 million to do 3 comedy specials,
and they are fantastic.
Yes,
they are.
Again,
on my
not for the
list.
faint of heart,
I can
though.
see those. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna be like Scott and Bob and Derek said to watch this, and it was filthy. Well, no shit, it's Dave Chappelle. Okay, what do you think was gonna happen?
Not real quick. Another person I liked that kind of disappeared was Dane Cook.
You know what happened with Dane Cook was he became so huge, and he got accused of ripping off other people's material. He rose so quickly and made so much money that I think jealousy from other comics and stuff like that. And he had a falling out with Louis C.K. and all sorts of crazy stuff. I almost feel like he's kind of laid low for a while to let it blow over, and he'll be back.
He'll probably come back, because I watched a couple of his specials, had a couple of it on CD, and it just his kind of comedy just made me absolutely laugh. It was, just fun stuff.
Yeah.
Same with Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
Remember that guy.
Oh, dude, he got blown out by comics, just destroying him. Because here's the truth: he really did steal people's material, and in the comedy world, that is a huge no-no. Huge, and he did it. He full-on did it. That's the same thing, by the way. I got to mention one other person because she had another special on Netflix. Amy Schumer. She's another one of these people who has been accused of stealing a lot of stuff, and Netflix put a lot of money into her special, and everybody gave it such bad reviews. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but now you can't give stars to anybody. It's thumbs up or thumbs down, and that all happened after Amy Schumer. Conspiracy theory. Boom.
Strange.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of her stuff. I really don't even know who she is. I can picture her face, but I don't even know her.
She's just one of those dirty girl comedians, basically.
All right. Now, Scott, I know we gotta.
Derek's like, we gotta wrap this up. Okay.
No. I know you're the one with the time crunch.
I know. We're on a time crunch.
We'll revisit this.
So anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about this again. Tell us who you guys love comedy-wise. There's so many great people out there. Let us know what you think. Send it to heywe'retalking@gmail.com. Visit us at heywe'retalking.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at heywe'retalking. Instagram. I don't know if we do we do Instagram? Not very much stuff on there, but you can hit us up anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Bob's
I can't believe we didn't mention Robin Williams. Oh, well, we'll get back to it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.